What's up, everybody? It's Magic here with RacingNews.com, back for another edition of Dr. Miranda Previews. With me, as always, is my co-host, Dr. Miranda. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's been beautiful weather here in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm rocking my Free Britney hat. If anybody knows what's going on with Britney Spears, it's crazy what people are allowed to do in this world. But I'm excited to talk about horse racing. I know I took a week off, but we're right back to it.
Well, let's see what kind of a control you can have over this race here. 7 stakes at Churchill Downs on Saturday. Their closing day, which was pretty sad for you. You love going to Churchill Downs. But we, in the meantime, 7 stakes races, including the Stephen Foster Stakes. But we are going to look at the Wise Dan Stakes, which is one race prior, race 10 on the card. Field of 10 males, 4 and up, going a mile and a 16th on the turf. Dr. Miranda, favoritism set piece, 8-5. It's your old favorite trainer to fade, Brad Cox with Florent Giroux in the saddle. Some Like It Hot Brown is in here as well at 2-1, another horse that has burned you before. So I'm real curious to see what you're going to do in this race. Take us through the field and let us know your best bets.
Yep, so I'm super excited to do this race. I usually do the girls, I do the Fleur de Lis, but I mean, there's 6 horses in there. You have Latruska, but I just want to say one thing, don't look past Antoinette. That's all I'm going to say. But with this horse, this race, we're going to start with the number 1 horse. We have Set Piece with Brad Cox and Florent Giroux. Of course, they're the favorite. They're always the favorite at Churchill Downs. This horse is coming off a 2-race winning streak, both coming from Churchill. This horse has raced 6 times already since December of 2020. So this horse is primed and ready to go. He has a lot of closing speed, so he likes to come from behind. In the last 2 races, there just wasn't a whole lot of pace, so he was easily able to pass the entire field in the stretch each time. However, this time there's a horse in there who's going to try to go gate to wire, is incredibly fast. So I think he's going to have a lot of ground to make up if Florent rides him the same way he's been riding him the last 6 months. He did earn a career best buyer last time out, so there's a lot of potential with this horse. We'll just have to see how it plays out. Then we have the number 2 horse. I'm going to butcher the name. I'm going to say Matokatif. It's an Irish bred horse who was being trained by Chad Brown, just got switched to Alberta Davies, who is unfortunately at 0% winning percentage in 2021. He was put in an optional claimer last month after being off for over a year at Churchill, but ended up 7th after a stumble start. So he could have just been rusty for being off a year, or this horse could just not want to run anymore. He is 6 years old. He does get Mitchell Murrill up on top, but I just don't think this horse has enough in him for this field. Then we're going to go with the number 3, Some Like It Hot Brown, who just came off an impressive win at Pimlico last month, getting a 96 buyer in the G2 Dinner Party Stakes. It was a very fast pace, with the finishing time being 1:40 at a mile and 16th. And I just want to compare something. Set Piece got a 100 buyer in an ungraded stakes with a finishing time of 1:44 at the same exact distance. This horse likes to go out of the gate and just go, and I think he's going to be alone up there, and this is going to be very dangerous if he gets to set his own pace without any kind of pressure. Now, he might get some horses that are trying to stalk him, and he may try to wear them down if he runs the same way that he has been running. He has the most triple-digit buyers in the field, and I really like the fact they're keeping Jose on top. Like you guys said earlier, a mile and 16th is just kind of his specialty. He has 4 wins out of his last 5 at a mile and 16th. Then we're going to go with the number 4 horse. We have Super Sol with Gabriel Saez and Juan Cano. He won his last time out with a 93 buyer on his first try on turf. He also has a win on dirt and on artificial this year. So he is a pretty well-rounded horse. It was an optional claimer last time out, but I think this horse could be pretty sneaky in here and might up hitting the board, even though this is the toughest field he's ever faced in the first graded stakes company. The number 5 horse is Hierarchy. After being off for almost 8 months, he returned back and won his debut with a 93 buyer. This horse was running longer races last summer, doing a mile and a fourth and a mile and a half, and he was facing some pretty good horses. He met up with Arklow, Factor This, and Zula Alpha in these stakes races, and he ran pretty decent. The problem I have with him, though, is I don't know if he's going to run a 90 buyer or an 80 buyer. And in this field, in this race, that's a big difference. And the number 6 horse is Kentucky Ghost. This is one of the youngest horses in the field. He's been having a pretty decent 2021 campaign so far. He has 2 wins and a 2nd place finish. I think this horse is going to try to go with the pace with Some Like It Hot Brown, and I think he's going to get worn down. He's going to wear down the stretch. And I think the other horses from behind are going to come up and pass him. I just think that this horse just needs a little bit more experience before jumping in a deep end with the G2. And then the number 7 is Ride a Comet with Mark Haas and Tyler Gaffleon. This horse has been in the most graded stakes company and did get second in a G1 in April behind Raging Bull, who did just get beat by Alexandra. So go girl power right there. If you look back at his last race, though, I honestly think it was a bit too far for his liking. Both of his 100 buyer starts were both at a mile. Also, if you look at the PPs, he pops 100, then he goes to a 93. Then he pops another 100, then he goes to an 87. So I think this may be a good race for him based just off that pattern alone. And he did beat Some Like It Hot Brown back in April. He's been off for about 45 days, so I think he is going to be ready to go. And then the number 8 is Field Pass, another Mike Maker horse with Ricardo up top. I think that this horse is his number 2 horse in the race, and he's just looking for him to finish in the top 4. His last win was an artificial at Woodbine last November. If you look back, he's always just been there. It's not like he gets blown out of the water. Besides the last race, which I think was a little bit too long for him and he just faded, there is going to be more in what he wants to do. And Ricardo is a very aggressive rider at Churchill Downs. Then we're going to go with the number 9 Spooky Channel, which seems to be more of a distance turf horse. He likes to go long distances because he likes to close from behind. And I think in this race, he's just going to run out of room. Last summer, he had run an optional claimer at Churchill at this distance and won, but I just don't see that happening here, and I think he needs more room. Now, unless there is some type of pace meltdown and all the front runners just kind of fade away, then he might have a chance. And lastly is the number 10 is In Love, who's a Brazilian horse with Joe Talamo and Paulo Lobo. He finished behind Kentucky Ghost last time out. And before that, he was just kind of running okay with allowance and optional claimers. I'm not using Kentucky Ghost, so I'm just not going to use this horse. So with my top pick in this race, it's the number 3, Some Like It Hot Brown. I just think he's going to wire this field with his early speed, and the others are going to be playing catch up the entire time because I just don't see a whole lot of pressure in the beginning. So in Exacta, I'm going to put Set Piece and Ride a Comet. So an Exacta box is going to be 137. In a try box, I'm going to add in the Long Shot Super Soul, try to catch a price. We're going to go 1347 box. And then we're going to add in Field Pass in the Superfecta. So we'll have 13478.
Some Like It Hot Brown look like he's going to run away here. Dr. Miranda believes it. I believe it. Mike Somich believes it. You can catch our beliefs on this race and the entire late pick 4 sequence on the Magic Mike Show. If you want even more in-depth coverage of the racing at Churchill Downs on Saturday, check out the inside track to the Stephen Foster Stakes wagering guide available now at racingdudes.com. Go to racingdudes.com. Click on the handicapping products page. Dr. Miranda, it's been a good meet for you at Churchill Downs. Let's see if we can close it out with a bang. Let the fans know how they can follow you on Twitter.
At Miranda Bungie.
Perfect. Until next week, thanks for following. We'll see you again.